Hello everybody, this is Peter from Skyfol. I'm the managing owner of Skyfol, and we came together with Alex today. Alex is our trainer since over 10 years now. Many of you have already been taking part on some trainings that we did together with him. And we wanted to show some tips and tricks, like that we usually show on the trainings as well. And we took this Mini Countryman. It's a quite complicated curved car. And the first thing that I would like to point out is there are three major things which are necessary for a quality installation. So the first thing is the slip solution. So there's no magic recipe for the slip solution. How much shampoo you should add, or what sort of solution should you add. Usually on our trainings we use just Johnson Baby shampoo. The reason, because it's all over available and it's the same product. So, but you can use whatever slip solution you want. If it's working for you, it's fine. So Johnson Baby shampoo we are using. Today we are going to work with 5 milliliter to 2 liter. That's 2.5 milliliter to 1 liter. So, but you can use less, you can use more. Everybody has to find their own recipe for the slip solution and the amount of the mixture. In some of the cases, if you're using too much slip solution, you're going to have some issues when finishing on the edges. It's not going to tack, it's not going to be so easy to wash out. If you're using too little amount of slip solution, then you may have tack points on the surface. So what really has something to do with the adhesion is the environment, the speed of the installation, the temperature, the way how you squeegee. So it's very dependent on the person, on the installer, how much slip solution you should use. So basically everybody has to find the proper ratio, and they have to find the proper ratio to the given adhesive. Installer plus film plus adhesive. And these three together, this will put out the perfect solution for you. So this is for the slip solution. It's also important what do we use for the washing out, on the edges, tack solution. We don't use isopropyl. We only use like distilled water. If we need more adhesion, we use just hot distilled water. Distilled water, it has a much better performance than just regular tap water. And but you can go ahead and use, of course, with any of our products. Also like IPA, you can add like 10-15%. I wouldn't suggest more. But it's not necessary, and IPA is a toxin, so if you can, I would avoid using it. So the second most important thing is the stretching. So when you put the film onto the car, here we're going to showcase a technique which we call the dry fixing. When we mask out the fixing points in order to have a dry surface, and we also mask out the corners of the film in order to have a full tack dry surface and totally dry adhesive, and that will give you such a tack point that will enable you to apply as much stretching as needed. The more complicated the surface, the more important the thing is. And the other thing is that you can reposition because it's dry. So first of all, you don't need to wash out and put down. It's never going to lift. And you can just take it off, reposition, put it back, and it still is going to hold very well. So first of all, we open up the hood, in order to avoid any kind of surfaces on the car to be holding out the film. This is usually the part of the front bumper or the headlights that are holding the film away from the surface. So for this reason, Alex is opening the hood. Then you just need to stretch the film. First you just need to put down on one corner and then the other corner, and then stretch the film into the other three corners. You don't need to, many installers, they are applying too much stretch. You don't need to stretch it too much. You only need to follow the edges and the curves on the hood and just see how much stretching is needed. It needs to lay flat and it needs to be stretched alongside all the edges, because that's when the film is going to flip over the edge, and that's when it's going to hold perfectly. So Stretching is very important because if you do not do it properly, then you're going to have a lot of issues during the finishing. After the stretching is done, you can start the squeegeeing. We usually start squeegeeing with the most elevated points because that's where the film is stretched onto the surface, and those are the areas where it's going to start tacking the soonest. So those are the areas which you need to start with the squeegeeing. Try to do like long strokes and with the same pressure, not to do some little strokes with different angles, different pressures, because of course it's going to dry out, but that is going to leave the nicest surface behind if you can like do it like long strokes. And always always finish the squeegeeing on the edges of the curves on the hood, you know, because that's where the light breaks and you can hide any kind of imperfection on that, so you can stop on the edge of any line on the body. After the squeegeeing, you know, there's the third part is the finishing, which is very important, which is basically cutting and wrapping over on the edges. So if your slip solution was good, then you shouldn't have any problem with wrapping over the edges. If you use too much shampoo, then you might need to wait a little bit, wash out, and then might wait a little bit till it dries out more so that you can finish. When you're wrapping over, me personally, I like to just let it rest for a couple of hours, and then it's so easy. In the meantime, you can do another part. But some of the installers, they would like to finish immediately. Then if your slip solution was okay, then you can do it right after the squeegeeing is done, and the cutting, of course. So before the cutting, we flush out, you know, the edges, of course, and everybody has to learn, of course, to cut properly. That's usually about 1-2 millimeters from the edge, you know, where the hump in the paint is. So before that, you need to cut, or you can leave, if you wrap it over, you need to leave some material. This is usually 0.5 centimeter around that you need to wrap over. It's you usually don't need more. Of course, first you need to, when you open up the hood and when you're cleaning in the beginning, you need to check, you know, the inner part of the edge of the hood. And based on that and your experience, you should be able to decide how much material is needed to be left over, but it's usually around half a centimeter. That should be okay, and that should hold properly. About the corners, there are multiple techniques to finish the corners. You can just cut it through. You can just, as you go with the knife, you can just cut it narrower on the corner, or you can just wrap over and then use a torch or a lighter to give it a kiss of heat, and then just push it down, and then it will result in a perfect job. That's the technique that we mostly use with matte PPFs or colored PPFs, because that's going to give you the nicest finish. Before cutting, we usually use the steamer, or you can also use hot water, you know, to take out the tension of the film. So when you're steaming or pouring hot water on it, you will see that the film is just relaxing back, just relaxing out, and the tension is dissolved from the surface. Then you need to cool it back before cutting, of course. So never cut, you know, the warm film. And then when you cool it back, you can cut it nicely, and you can see gradually how the film is without any tension. One last thing before finishing, you know, if you have a surface where you have to remove the film, and it's been on for years, then it can be a really big issue to remove the film. So there's a technique when you're cut along, you know, the edges, and then you don't have to wrap it out with your fingers, but then you can take it out as a line, as a stripe, you know. And after that, you can also slice the surface of the film, and then you can take it off in stripes, and then it's much easier to remove. Especially, we always suggest you to use a steamer for removal, because it helps to relax for to take off the adhesive without any kind of residues, and it's much nicer also to the surface. You can avoid a lot of damages this way. So that was basically this video. Thank you for watching. We went through, you know, the three major steps: the slip solution, the stretching, and the finishing. Basically concentrating on the hood of this Countryman. If you would like to have any additional videos, like with the bumpers or whatever, or some other cars, just let me know, and then we will manage to do some videos like that. The only thing which we didn't cover was the cleaning. Of course, this is also a key in quality installation, but there we usually don't have, our customers, they never have any issues, so it's normally okay. Where the issues lie usually is the slip solution, the stretching, and the finishing, so that's why we concentrate on this. So thanks for watching again, and have a great day, guys.